On the front lines of 2 world wars, Native Americans from more than 30 Native nations used their unique indigenous languages to encrypt tactical communications in the heat of battle. My fellow Dene or Navajo people served on one of these elite teams, and they are known as Selaltwa or Code Talkers. Yat and hello. I'm Jackson Brossi, and I'm a member of the Navajo Nation and a former executive director of the Navajo Nation Washington office. I grew up on the Navajo reservation in Setlachit, Haskana, or Red Mesa, Arizona. I learned to speak the Navajo language from an early age from my grandmother. Today I'm honored to share with you the role that my language played in helping our country secure numerous victories in the Pacific theater during World War II. As the U.S. entered the war, our armed forces needed a way to quickly and securely transmit tactical radio messages on the battlefield. Throughout the First World War, they used Native American languages to create an unbreakable code. But they knew the Germans and Japanese had sent scouts to the reservations after the war to learn these languages and were hesitant to use them for a second time. This was before they learned about Navajo. Philip Johnson, the son of a missionary couple who grew up on the Navajo reservation and spoke the language, saw the potential for using it to create a code. He told the Marine Corps, because Navajo is an incredibly complex language, rarely spoken outside the Navajo Nation, it would be highly unlikely an adversary would understand it. The Marines saw the potential and recruited the first 29 Navajo Code Talkers in 1942, tasking them to develop a code using their language. This took creativity and a lot of imagination. There were no words in Navajo for things like tanks, ammunition, or squadrons, so the Code Talkers turned to everyday words from their language to describe them. They used the Navajo word for a destroyer, tlotso, or shark. They called bombs eggs, or yanji, and tanks or tortoises, or chetagahi. By the end of the war, their codebook had more than 600 words. They also developed a phonetic alphabet system to encode words that were not in their codebook. They assigned an English word to each letter, then translated it into Navajo. One of the words they used for the letter A, for example, was apple, which is translated in Navajo to belasana. Simple, but highly effective. This system allowed Code Talkers to encipher, transmit, and decipher spoken messages in mere minutes or even seconds. Existing code machines could take 30 minutes or even hours for longer codes, and most historians believe the code was never broken. Despite their heroism and selfless service, the Code Talkers didn't receive any public recognition for their work until 1968. Since then, 3 American presidents recognized their outstanding contributions. The gold medals they received were inscribed in Navajo. With the Navajo language, they defeated the enemy. Our unique language, once banned, became the foundation for a code that saved thousands of lives during a devastating world war. And their story is a lasting reminder that diversity is our nation's greatest strength.
Over 200 Navajo Code Talkers participated on the landing of Iwo Jima. 5th Marine Division were on the north side of the island. A company of Marines were pinned down real badly. They were being fired upon from 3 different directions. Mortar shells were being dropped down. They were hunkering desperately in their foxhole. Company commander wrote down a message asking for help, handed to a Navajo Code Talker. This is what the Navajo Code Talker said. This is the actual message that was sent on Iwo. De be ana hachim bi dat is tahi de na sonse taji kochim sita sa ta asta na ki shash. What does that mean? This is what he said in Navajo. Sheep, eyes, nose, deer, destroyer, tea, mouse, turkey, onion, sick horse, 3, 6, 2, bear. As each Navajo word came through the air, the Code Talker down at the beach command post, he writes it down in English. What did he write down? Send demolition team to hill 362B. There were 3 hills on the north side, 362A, 362B, and 362C. Beneath 362B was the problem. His message took 20 seconds. After 20 seconds, each command post organized a rescue team to save that company of Marines. If that message was sent in English code, it would have taken 30 minutes. 20 seconds in Navajo, 30 minutes in English code. Those guys pinned down on north side didn't have 30 minutes. Without Navajo, Marines would never have taken the island of Iwo Jima. That's how critical Navajo Code was to the war in the Pacific. And we should never forget what war is. War is something that nobody wants. It's bad, it's ugly. But so long as we are together, no matter what nationality you are, if you are American and love this country, we all have to stick together to keep this nation strong. Our freedom and liberty means so much, meant so much for those who never made it home. So it's up to us now to keep this nation strong and prosperous.
I went to recruiting office in Gallup, New Mexico. I enlisted in the Marine Corps. I went through the boot camp like everybody else. They were pretty strict. They sent me to a confidential area. I walk in, here's a whole bunch of Navajos. The Sergeant Benali says, "You're here at Code Talker School. You're going to be a Code Talker. You're going to help us." October, I was in Code School. By November, 5th Marine Division activated. By December, I was already assigned out there, combat unit. So finally, we head out overseas. We're going somewhere. They told us we're going to Tokyo. We work every day. We memorize and send messages as fast as we can. In February, we were told we're supposed to land on Iwo Jima, February 19th, 1945. There were bombing, strafing by the airplane. The first group, they were hand-to-hand fighting. Oh, it was really terrible. I had an awful feeling. And the first shot, one of the Code Talker got killed. 5 Code Talker were wounded, and there were 33 of us assigned to 5th Marine Division. So it was really sad and scary. You don't know where the motor's going to land. Or you get shot from sniper. I had no feeling at all when I landed with my unit. Just keep low, go in and fix up communication equipment, the radio. We sent close to 800 messages. There were no mistake. That's how we work as a Code Talker. But you always remember what you did, all the things you went through. You went from place to place on the ship, and there were Japanese submarine, there were suicide. I know I became so sad that nothing had happened to me. I was protected by the Marine. They were protecting us, we're protecting them. I was lucky, but some didn't get lucky like those got killed on the beach.
Reinforcements and supplies behind their tenuous jungle lines. They had an ability to communicate in a way that other people couldn't understand. 5th
Philip Johnson knew that and brought it up to the attention of the training folks at Camp Elliot on the east side of Miramar and to the Commandant of the Marine Corps eventually, and that's how they kind of got their start. The Battle of Iwo Jima would not have been successful without the Navajo Code Talkers.
Because of the secrets the Code Talkers had to transmit, they were the first to hit the beach and the last to leave.
Their code was the only code in history that was never broken.
These Marines that served as Code Talkers throughout the Pacific, they were the majestic voice of the South Pacific.
At home, they carried for decades the secret of their own heroism. Today, we give these exceptional Marines the recognition they earned so long ago.